to be quite honest, my initial sort of egotistical mind at that time was like, it would be cool to climb a mountain in my shorts and take a picture and put it on the internet. Like, that's where my mind was going. I'm just going to be like that guy. This is what all these guys are doing. And, you know, I saw, and what intrigued me about Wim was like him bringing like people up on the mountain with no experience and saying, hey, anyone can do this. And, you know, that's sort of the way I've been living my life, is like, you know, if someone else can do it, that means it's possible for anyone to do it. But he was the real guy that drove that home for me, because he was doing some real crazy shit. Like me, I was like doing a little crazy shit. And going there really changed things for me. But where the big shift happened was when we spent a week in nature. Up in the Colorado Rocky Mountains, in the forests, in the lakes, jumping in, being kids, being curious, freezing our asses off, doing a lot of breathing. And in one breathing experience, you know, which he took us on some deeper dives beyond the Wim Hof method, which was just almost like a holotropic or a transformational breathing style, where we just like have different speeds and we just keep picking it up and breathing. And I was just going through it and just really giving it. I think that's the other thing that people, once you commit to things in life, when you really give it your all, that's when sort of the magic happens. When you're sort of on the fence and unsure, like I'm feeling a lot of that now with making decisions with everything that's going on. But it's like when you just are like, okay, like we're doing this. This is my decision. I'm going all in. And I did that in this breath work. And there was a point where I had this out of body experience where I totally left my body and I didn't know where I was, what was going on. It just sort of dissolved. I remember sort of coming back, almost feeling like a baby or something, and just crying uncontrollably, like weeping, like bawling my eyes out. 30 other dudes here, big, strong, athletic, all kinds of things. I'm just like, whatever. This is just the best feeling ever. I just letting it rip. And I didn't know what I was crying about. It just felt like years of repressing this emotion that I needed to release, which was maybe sadness or whatever, just like this crying. And I just let it out, and I felt good about it, and it felt safe to do that. And that sort of stuck with me. And I was like, what was that? And that sort of led me on this sort of exploration of breathing and curating these deeper experiences with breath, with music, sound, movement, rhythm, to create what now is elemental rhythm breakthrough experience, or elemental rhythm breath work. And it's bizarre, I guess, in a way, but in a way it's not. That you don't need any substances or things. Just your breath can take you deeper than any of these things. And that's, a lot of people share that with me. Like sometimes I'll facilitate like a plant medicine retreat, and the breath work brings them deeper or unlocks more than the actual plant medicine did. And sometimes it's that intimate relationship with the self and allowing yourself to go deep, feeling safe, and just pushing it can do. So yeah, that's a long-winded story of sort of how we met and diving into the breath.
I love it.
That was great.
I love it. You know what it brings up for me, man, is the same kind of thing happened with Wim, with me. And I feel like, Gio, have you ever been to Burning Man?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you experience the synchronicities?
Man, Burning Man was crazy for me. It was, yeah, but synchronicities for sure. But it was,
okay.
Yeah.
So you know that feeling that it almost feels like it's magic, and like, this is defying logic. Am I being punked? What, like, what's happening here? Is this a grand theater just to make me feel like synchronicities are real? And I feel like the entire world is that, if you're clued in, and clued in means just like open to the possibilities of what the moment's trying to teach you. So like I forget how it was that I got hooked up with Chris Ryan. He wrote Sex at Dawn and Civilized to Death. And I got on the Tangentially Speaking podcast up at his place. He was up in Topanga. It was in this small little room. It was really cozy. Awesome podcast. And then I was leaving and he was like, yo, brother, I got to run down to the bottom of the hill to grab this other guest. You want to roll with me? And I really just felt like getting back home. And this was one of those moments where I was like, I feel like there's a yes here for some reason. So I was like, all right. So I hopped in the car. We rolled down. I had no idea where we were going. I didn't ask any questions. For some reason, I just got in. And we rolled up to Rich Roll's house. And Rich Rolls comes walking out, and out comes the other guest, which is Wim Hof. And I run into him there. He recognized me from Holland. So the other part of the synchronicity is my wife is Dutch. I was in 2012, I was doing this European tour all over. And I literally was just going to stop in Amsterdam one night. Bada bing, bada boom. I stopped there. I do a talk. I mention ayahuasca. My now wife, Barbara, had done it that morning. We had such a click. And then so like, you know, I won't get into the whole litany of things from there, but bottom line is she lived an hour from Wim Hof, and her whole family had been into Wim for quite some time before like elsewhere in the world people were catching on to it. So I got to meet him early on, and he took me training with Alistair Overeem of the UFC, and just all these interesting things. But like the world is fucking huge, right? You know, supposedly it's, you know, there's 7 billion people wandering around there, and for some reason, like traveling around, I run into so many people that I know, and that happened all the time at Burning Man. And so I think either Wim Hof is an elemental or some kind of like sprite or spirit, and he's just popping up in our fields to you know, to wake us up, or there really is like the Burning Man thing is it. All the synchronicities seem to happen maybe because whatever life is, whatever the earth is, whatever reality is, that stuff can happen more when you believe it. And that's why I love what you were saying. Like when you just surrender into like, I'm having a great time, then the thing you thought you couldn't do before becomes realistic. It's like you're getting over your own hurdle, your own wall. Make sure y'all head over to benjosephstewart.com, become a member. You'll have access to the growing library of deeper dives where I talk about all the stuff that I really can't talk about on YouTube. Make sure you get involved in the Discord chat. That's where a lot of the conversation is happening, talking about new theories, being able to interweave into the greater conversation that is how we awaken infinity. That's our highest potential. And I just want to remind you, you are the most powerful technology ever known to creation. Wield it like an artist with a conscience.